Alright, we the Hebrew Israelites come out week in, week out, prophesy the downfall of America. Alright, to wake up the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to the fact that you are the true biblical Israelites according to the Bible. Alright, and that, you know, everybody outside of that, you're going into future slavery, and America's going to be destroyed in this upcoming World War III. Alright? We want to first and foremost give all praises to Yahweh Shemal Shah, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, to the truth. Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity. Alright? Start out first with Jeremiah 28, verse 7 through 8.
Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 7. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thy ears, and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries.
That's right, the prophets, okay, which the word prophet or the prophesy means to speak before, okay? All right, so the prophets were one Israelites, not everybody, okay? Hold that real quick. What's that in Amos chapter 2? I think it's like verse 11 or verse 10 where it say that the Lord's prophets were Israelites.
Amos chapter 2, verse 11. And I raised up of your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O children of Israel, saith the Lord?
So the prophets would be Israelites, okay? All right, and the Israelites are these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American descent. So not everybody can be a prophet of the Lord, okay? But the prophets, go back to Jeremiah 28 and 8.
Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, both prophesied both against many countries.
Against many countries.
And against great kingdoms.
And against great kingdoms. Now the many countries will be the heathens, okay? Or the natural Gentiles, which are the other nations outside of the Israelites, okay? The Lord prophesied against them, okay? Because the Lord spoke through the prophets, all right? They didn't speak of their own, okay? So the Lord is against these nations, and he's against great kingdoms. America is a kingdom, okay? Because America is the superpower of the earth, right? Okay? And America, the Lord is speaking against it. So America, this is what's going to happen to America. Keep reading.
Of war?
Of war, okay? In the news, you got increasing talks of war brewing between the nations of the East, like China, Russia, Iran. And even they had rallies in Pakistan protesting against the United States about them sending them assassinating drones, dropping bombs on their people. So tension is building from the Eastern Hemisphere, those nations, against America and its allies, mainly against these so-called Jewish. They wish these Israelis, all right, and America is going to lead to war. Third World War, which is going to lead to the destruction of America, okay? Which the vast majority of these peons here in America, they don't see that, okay? All right? And with that whole incident that's brewing over there now in Syria, all right, between the Turks, the Turkish government, and the Syrians, which Turkey is part of NATO, which is part of alliance with America, okay? Because they know that the United States want to start a war over there so they can easily slide it over towards Iran, okay? We're getting close to that. You can read what you got.
Of war and of evil.
And of evil, meaning bad times, okay? Evil, when you break it down, Eve meaning time and ill meaning bad, okay? So the Lord is prophesying evil or bad times for America, which you have there, okay? American Airlines is about to cut 450 jobs, okay? Bank of America is going to cut 2,000 jobs by the end of this year, okay? All right? And even though the so-called unemployment rate done dropped down to 7.8, how convenient that is when the next month is what, November, October, November, and the elections next month. That's just to bedazzle these simple peons into voting for Obama, man. Which one you ain't supposed to be voting, okay? It doesn't matter anyway, because the elite's gonna put whoever they want in there. And they gonna do his bidding, or their bidding, okay?
And a pestilence.
And pestilence. And we're gonna focus in on that. Now, pestilence, when you look it up in the Hebrew, is debar, which the word debar means to speak or word, but in this sense it means plague or pestilence, okay? And the word pestilence breaks down into infectious, an infected, unwholesome, noisome, deadly disease, plague, a deadly or virulent epidemic disease, okay? Virulent meaning actively poisonous, intensely noisome, highly infectious, malignant or deadly, violently or spitefully hostile, intensely bitter, spiteful or malicious disease. And the word pestilence break down to the root of it, which is pest, which means a deadly contagious disease. Now recently you had 47 cases of people receiving meningitis, okay, which is an infection of the brain and the spinal cord, all right, and 5 people died from it recently, okay. You had tuberculosis outbreak down there in Florida. You had West Nile down there in Texas, okay. You got the city of Chicago suing, damn, I forgot who they suing, but they suing them for spraying radioactive poison over the people by means of chemtrails, okay? You had the flesh-eating virus down here and other parts in, what was that, Georgia, okay? And it's gonna be more diseases, man, okay?
Jeremiah 14:10. Thus said the Lord unto this people.
Read down to 12.
Thus have they loved to wander, they have not refrained their feet.
Yeah. Talking about the Israelites. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yeah, y'all Israelites, God's chosen people. But because you don't want to accept that, or that's too much for you, you still want to be American or do whatever you want to do, that's not refraining your feet. So what's going to happen to them? Keep reading.
Thus have they loved to wander, they have not refrained their feet.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Lord doeth not accept them.
Yeah, and that's talking about 2/3. Because 2/3 of our own people going to die with these nations here in America. All right? By means of pestilence. Okay? Because the Pentagon has invested in biological weapons, which they call ethnical weapons. Where you get the word ethnical, you get it from ethnicity, which is talking about your race. So they have race-specific biological weapons prepared for these people here in America, as well as, what was that, 400 billion hollow-tip bullets? Okay? Because they know it's going to be uproar and sedition of people and freaking out when they release these biological agents into the amongst the people and start killing them, man.
They have not refrained their feet.
Yep.
Therefore the Lord doeth not accept them. He will now remember their iniquities and visit their sins.
Yeah.
Then said the Lord unto me, pray not for this people, for their good.
Yeah, so we ain't supposed to be praying for 2/3 for their good, man. Because they're hard-headed. They're not going to return. They're not going to repent. They're not going to do what's right, even if you tell them a 1,000 times, man. You can tell them 1,000 times, even bring out factual information, okay, from different sources proving what you're saying, but the Bible's more valid, okay? And they still want to accept it because they don't want to be told because you're too young or they know what's best, or it's a tradition. So we ain't supposed to pray for stubborn, simple-minded Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans like that. They're going to die in their sins, man. Keep reading.
When they fast, I will not hear their cry.
Yeah.
And when they offer burnt offerings and oblations, I will not accept them.
Uh-huh.
But I will